My name is DWoods. I am excited to join you on your journey with MissionFit Life to restart, reset, kind of refresh some areas of your life. I would encourage you and tell you, as someone who is ahead of you on the road of life, that stopping and doing some personal evaluation is probably one of the most significant life skills that you can learn. And I think it's you only do that when you have some humility in your life to sit and say, gosh, I am capable of getting off track. I'm capable of things having too much power over me. There's some areas I need to work on. That's humility. And that leads to personal evaluation. And that's what I think MissionFit Life is trying to do with you, is to get you to stop and kind of take some inventory of your life and your time, so to speak, and caring for your well-being. What I love is their fivefold model that is spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, and social. And what I want to talk with you about today, and what I spend a lot of time working with people on, and specifically teenagers, is the impact of technology. It's here, it's in our lives, but every single area that this fivefold model wants to focus on is impacted by technology. And without a little bit of evaluation, you can turn around and be hijacked, parts of yourself truly stunted, whether relationships or some other areas of personal growth. And so I want to jump right into this with you and help you think through this topic of technology with some focused attention. So let me start by saying technology is a little bit like money. I think it is morally neutral, meaning it's not bad, it's not good, it's not holy, it's not evil. Money doesn't have a moral kind of stamp to it. However, how we handle it will kind of drift in one direction or another. And just like money, technology can kind of sneak in and have a lot of power. It's something that's normal in our lives, and without paying attention, sneaks in. So I want to tell you 3 reasons why I know there is a problem. Okay, personally, why I think, yeah, we have a problem, with technology. Number 1 is, and I don't know if you know this or not, there are rehabs now for internet addiction. So whether internet addiction, video gaming, social media, virtual reality, one of them is actually called Restart. It's out in California, and if you Google it, you'll see it's kind of surreal to go onto their website and realize people are paying a lot of money to detox from how technology has taken over their lives. So this is one reason I know we have a problem, because there are people who are actually having to go to places to help them overcome their phone, if you can believe it, the addiction to their phone and to screens. The second reason I know there is a problem is because over the course of the last number of years, there have been many people who have been in the tech industry, and again, maybe you've heard of some of these stories, but they've left. One I'm going to name to you as an example, Tony Fadell. He was I think the vice president of the iPad division of Apple. And I read an article, I've read a number of articles, but one of them, he talked about waking up in the middle of the night and having cold sweats because he had felt such guilt over what he had brought into the world, because he knew that it was created to be addictive. He knew that there was design around this product that would be all-consuming, especially for teenagers, which it's, in fact, these companies market to you. So you got to be extra aware and just keen and observant on how things weasel their way in, because they're designed that way. So he left the industry. He does not work in technology anymore after he saw the effect it was having on the world around him. The third reason I know that there's a problem, and you can share this probably with me, is all you have to do is sit somewhere in public and observe people, right? I mean, people are just on their phones. The fact that you could I have literally sat in a restaurant at certain times and seen a couple or a parent and a child, and both over the span of the entire meal are on their phones. that's not normal. That's like me choosing to spend time with you while I'm just watching TV the whole time, and I never interact with you. It's not healthy. It's not helpful to our relationship. So that's the third reason that I know there's a problem. I could actually list many more, but I'm going to tell you the 4 points I want to hit on in this short video with you. Number one is purpose, how we've kind of lost our sense of purpose. Number two is how the brain actually works, just the true development of the brain and how technology thwarts the growth and development of the brain and truly our lives as a result. The dangers of technology and what is a healthy brain. I think the dangers and the healthy, they sort of mirror each other. So they will overlap a little bit. But let me start by just telling you a little bit about this idea of purpose as I have seen it change in the world, our sense of purpose. And you, from a biblical worldview, you have been given the Spirit of God. The Spirit of God imparts himself to you, the qualities of Jesus, the qualities, his ideas, his way of responding to people, his way of handling money, his intellectual curiosity, his relationships, all of it. He has imparted himself to you, and very specific ways do you reflect him. So your personality is very unique from someone else's, and God has stamped himself into you a certain way so that, first of all, you become rescued and he saves you and changes you and frees you, and then you become part of doing that for society. That is what we believe is our purpose. You are part of reversing the curse that has happened. So where there's darkness, you bring light. Where there is dismissing people and demeaning people, there is encouragement and valuing and dignifying people. Where there is greed and self-absorption, we are generous and others focused. And this turns the curse in the opposite direction of what has happened on mankind. So that is our purpose. We live in a culture. I want you to think about it like a river. So a river moves really fast. And I think about culture like a river. And you remember when you were a kid, if you threw a leaf into the river and it would just keep flowing, and it was kind of at this fast pace. And this is what's happening with culture. We're jumping in the river and we're going with what everybody else is doing without a lot of thought, without a lot of critique, evaluation, criticism. And I mean in the sense of like, is this best? Is this wise? Is this wise is a really good question for you to ask about a lot of things in your life. But so we've become kind of a thoughtless people. And so we do what everyone else is doing. But let me stop and say to you that the common, typical, the normal is typically more unhealthy behavior. So when you look at the world and what a mess it is, relationships and greed and all of these things, it's because we're all sort of going this one way. And so when you choose to be kind of more in the minority on some things, you'll learn pretty quickly that is what is wise. And so technology is taking over people's lives. And everybody thinks that's kind of normal, and it is normal, but in light of it being normal, we think it's good. So I want you to kind of jump out of the river for a minute and think, really critically think about what is going on in your own life with this. The other piece of this is we should make the assumption that if God wants to reveal himself through me, there's going to be an enemy that wants to hijack that. And I think the cell phone and the screens and the video games is a really easy platform for him to get us to just be thoughtless, mindless, waste a lot of time, and not really invest in the more important things. So that's a little kind of an overview of how I think this is impacting us. But let me tell you about the brain really quickly, just 3 things. One is you are in a very critical time of development. And so your brain is forming and continues to form until you are 25 years old. So what you do now really actually does matter. That's why when people learn an instrument or a new language and they learn it at a young age, which is what education's trying to do early on now, it sticks with you. If I were to pick up a new instrument right now, it'd be very hard for me to do. So I envy you a bit with the development of your brain if you use it the right way. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is there's this process your brain is going through that's called a pruning. So the neurons are being pruned in your brain. So what you don't use, a certain language or instrument, you will lose the ability to do that. And so whether it comes to social skills, whether it comes to chores, other life skills, if you're not cultivating those, they are hard to come by later in your life. You don't just flip a switch and at 25, you know how to do all these things. It is a cultivating of these pathways in your brain, securing them and protecting them. And think about that what you do with most of your time, and this is my third point, your pathways in your brain are like dirt roads right now, but they will become like paved roads. So the dirt roads are moldable. What you repeat. So if you keep repeating a certain activity or a certain language or a certain, you're going out with people and you're face to face with them. You are learning to cook. You're doing chores. You're getting comfortable with navigating life. Those pathways become paved. If you don't, if you're on your phone in these video games all the time, those pathways form. It's harder to think about other things. They become all consuming. They're designed to be that way. And so those other pathways are falling away. As I said, they're being pruned. And so the dirt roads being turned into paved roads are not always the ones that you want to be paved. So it's a critical time for you. I'm going to just jump through the dangers, okay? And I'm going to do these kind of quickly. One is addiction and distraction. Just so you know, the World Health Organization in 2018 deemed video game addiction a true mental disorder that is now diagnosable by a doctor, okay? So that should show you right away that this is addictive. The companies do this thing called persuasive design. What it means is they're sitting around a table creating these things and saying, what do we need to do here to hook people into this device? So if you notice with certain games, you have rewards, right? That hooks you. You might even have random rewards drop into the game unexpected to you. That keeps you in the game, always kind of hopeful. These are some of the things, the likes on social media, that's persuasive design. All of that gives a dopamine hit in your brain, which is the pleasure center of your brain. Now, normal activities and fun things like riding your bike or taking a hike or swimming, those things are fun. They give you a natural dose of dopamine, but they do not deliver the dopamine hit that the video game or the social media will do. And that is on purpose. That's intentional. And so you start to lose your value and interest and joy over more simple, ordinary, beautiful things in life, like relationships. So I want you to think about the fact that this is very intentional on their part. Addiction is the main danger here. The second danger is unable to handle downtime. Of course, this relates to addiction, but we don't know how to sit and be bored, but your imagination develops in boredom. Problem solving comes about through boredom. Spiritually speaking, that's when we hear from God. That's when we're quiet enough to pray. If we always leave those times of downtime and we never just let ourselves sit with how we feel or what we think about things, we don't develop as a human. We're just not developing. We don't have ideas coming to us because ideas keep being put into us, if that makes sense. Instead of you're sitting there coming up with some of your ideas, letting your imagination run. The third thing is that it stunts relationships. And I will say so many studies have been done to show that relationships are one of, if not the, besides God himself, the most important aspect of building a meaningful life. And relationships have taken a huge hit because apart from face-to-face, we do not attach the same way. So when you are face-to-face with someone, you are truly attaching and bonding to them. That's not happening through these other kind of virtual or texting or playing a video game with other people across the world. Those relationships aren't being built that way. And so it's really important that we cultivate that. Loneliness is reported actually higher from people who are on more social media, which I think is ironic. We're afraid of losing connection, and in fact, that connection makes us lonelier. Research is showing that. So how about this? 12 to 23% of Americans say they don't even really have someone to talk to. And back in 1985, that was only 8%. So it's not that we haven't battled loneliness, but this is clearly making it worse, as is anxiety and depression going higher, which you probably know that. It also disrupts sleep. And this is the one thing I'll say about that, because sleep is so essential for your growth and your well-being. It causes you to be present and able to you're less irritable. But sleep, when you're looking at your phone, it suppresses this natural chemical in your body called melatonin, and melatonin is what helps you fall asleep. So it kind of ramps us up, it keeps us awake. So sleep has become, people are reporting sleep problems left and right. Less movement, and so MissionFit's going to appreciate this, but movement does wonders for us. It increases the blood flow to our brain. It refreshes our bodies and our brains. It lifts our mood. It lowers the risk for dementia. All these things. It produces more brain cells, actually. So the movement is significant. It is necessary for us, and it actually decreases stress. The phone's another danger is the increase of stress and anxiety, which I mentioned to you. So let me quickly say the healthy brain reads. First of all, every part of your brain lights up when you read. If you looked at a brain scan, every part of the brain is lit up. If you look at the brain scan of someone on social media or a game, one area of the brain is lighting up. So all these other pathways are falling away. As I said, face-to-face, unpredictable experiences with people where we have to learn to navigate that, but also we attach to them. Real experience, living out, real experiencing, being out in nature, feeling the wind, looking at the bird, making observations. Your stress goes down. Again, movement, good sleep, and really disciplining yourself to not escape from boredom. Here's the thing, maturity does not come with age. You will have heard it does not come with age. If you do not work hard in your life to be a wise person with discipline and boundaries, you will not grow. Adulthood will be hard for you. If your parents are on you about chores, praise God that they are, because that is the number one thing that prepares you to feel like I can handle life. I have what it takes. Anxiety is often linked to not being able to handle basic aspects of life. So I want you to do some self-awareness, check your blind spots because they will grow as you get older. I want you to be honest with yourself. Number 2, be honest with yourself and say, yeah, I'm on it too much. I'm like hibernating away up into my room. I'm on it too much. I'm disconnecting from my family. I'm starting to be tempted with parts of the screens that it's dangerous, or I'm just consumed with it. I don't enjoy other things. Pay attention to that. I would suggest turn off notifications so that you manage your phone. You choose when you look at it instead of your phone managing you. I would say delete apps and social media that has just caused you more stress. If you're honest with yourself, you can name which ones have. And I would say even unfollow people who you either compare yourself a lot to or you find that it brings up your anxiety and gets you stressed. Be intentional to go outside. You will notice your stress level go down if you are outside for 10 minutes. I promise you that. And know this, finally, and I'll close with this, you will feel odd to not be on your phone all the time. And you will feel strange in a world that's obsessed with their phones. But I always think I would rather be in the minority and a whole healthy person than be someone who's doing what everyone else is doing. That's not very creative. It's actually not even really who I want to be. So I encourage you to do a little bit of that evaluation. But I'm proud of you going through this program. I hope this helps. You're welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions or specific things you would like to process. But just be well and enjoy this process. Do the self-evaluation needing to become a whole person. Take care.